Taste Funny.
Hello, welcome to Taste Funny podcast episode 7, and
Hey.
what a month it's been.
Oh yes, we definitely weren't just sat in this same car recording, not but an hour and a half ago.
Yeah, oh mate.
Absolutely, certainly not.
So this is the podcast in which myself, Joe McLachlan,
And myself, Peter McHugh.
review a record from each other's collection. Oh, that was a much smoother intro than the
Yes,
last one.
because we did our full names last time. You were just like, "It's me, Joe," and I panicked.
No, I don't. Everybody on this has my number. So we're going to be chatting. Sorry, it's been a bit of a... Well, it hasn't been a delay, I suppose. I apologise for the delay in the last one. I'm getting confused. It's all very much...
Basically,
hello.
we're gonna do some albums, but I've got some up top business, and I think that qualifies as a ramble because the ramble.
Are we doing the up
otherwise-
top business include? Like, is this for the? I thought that was for your one.
No, it's up top.
Okay, that's fine. I'll put my notes down.
It's entirely
then.
Top Shot. Put your notes down. So the first thing I'd like to cover is the fact that you had a birthday recently.
I did.
I've not yet provided you with a present. I've not
Oh.
furnished you with a gift.
Oh wow. Okay.
Yeah, we're doing this on pod, believe it.
All right. Okay. Oh, holy shit.
So we've talked in the past about how earbuds are shit, and you were, I don't like cans.
Oh mate.
From now on, you have reference headphones for the podcast.
Fucking hell, mate.
So enjoy those.
Oh mate, that's really sweet of you.
No, that's good, because those are the ones I use when I'm out walking the dog. They're the same ones I use. They strike a good balance between decent sound quality. They sound almost as good as my like 100 quid plus ones that I have on my computer. And they are what I like to call replaceable. They're not so expensive that if you broke them, you'd be like, oh, fuck my life. So there you go.
That's really sweet
So
of you, man.
if
Thank
Finn
you.
like gets them and snaps them in half, they're not that bad to
He's
replace.
not gonna... I'm putting these well out of his reach. Oh mate, that's really kind of you. Thank you, man.
No, it's
I
good,
really
dude.
appreciate that, dude.
Much
Thank
love. Mwah.
Oh.
Ah,
That's lovely. We just had a little hug there,
yeah,
everybody.
it was good. It's a good
Oh, that's
one.
really kind, man. Thank you.
So there you go.
Right, I'm going to put them on the back seat. Fuck them. That's
Okay.
end of that chat. Right, so
Okay, so...
that was really rude. Sorry, I thought
Yeah,
that would be
it's
funny, but
fine.
actually it just seemed rude.
That was good.
Yeah.
So the rest of the up top business.
Okay.
So we talked vaguely at the end of the last one about the shags, and then we decided to dip on that, and we're coming back to it another time.
Yeah, we'll do like
Right.
we'll say at the end of the next month we'll have a third one. We'll
Yeah,
do a
we'll
third
do a
one,
third one.
maybe.
But I want you to do this and then talk about it in the next podcast as well.
Okay.
But you don't have to do a review. I'm not expecting you to review any of this
Jesus.
stuff.
Right, okay.
But just I just want to know.
I don't want an extracurricular. This was meant to be a nice, easy little fun thing for us to
A
do.
little bit of extracurricular, and,
Okay.
and trust me, you're going to enjoy it. Have you heard of the band Idols? If you say yes now, this fucks my entire thing.
Is that Idols OL or
No, Idols as in idols.
Do you know what it is? I think they were recently one of the podcasts that kind of inspired this format
Yeah.
is Vitriola podcast,
Right.
which you might enjoy, by the way. And
Oh,
everybody
okay.
else, if you enjoy this, it's not dissimilar. It's the comedian Michael Legg and the comedian Robin Ince. I could have just said comedians.
Some comedians doing
Some
a podcast.
comedians doing a podcast, but they just chat about music. They're proper,
Yeah,
lovers of
musos.
new music and stuff. And
Yeah.
it's really, and I hear a lot of stuff. There's a couple of things actually on my list that I will
if they're
recommend to you.
English, I can imagine they've probably...
One's English, one's Northern Irish, and they
No.
get pretty cross if you think that they're English. So.
Well, no, but my point is, if they are okay, if they're from this area of the world, then chances are they've probably heard of Idols. They are a
Well,
British
they were
band.
mentioned. That's why I've heard of them. They,
Right,
were, they
okay.
were mentioned on that podcast,
So
but I can't remember what.
they've just put a new album out called Joy Through Resistance,
Okay.
and I hadn't heard of them, and I'd sort of vaguely been introduced to them by, I don't remember where it was. I think I saw a review for one of their albums by Anthony Fantano, the internet's busiest music nerd,
Okay.
aka Melon Lord.
Don't know who that is.
Well, you
but
should. He's really good. And
I only listen to music
and
for
I'd
this.
gone to listen to like a live video of theirs, or I'd maybe found the live video first. I don't know. But the point is, I'd gone, I don't really like it. It's not for me. And then their single just popped up on my radar, called Colossus. And it's the first track off the album, and I guarantee you will hate the first. It's like a 3.5 minute song. Let's say I'm just spitballing that. I've no idea how long it is. You will hate the first 3 minutes. The first 3 minutes sound to me like Future of the Left. Like it's very Future of the
I
Left.
maintain I didn't hate that
No,
album.
no,
It just wasn't for me.
no. All I'm going to say is the last 30 seconds you will fucking adore,
Okay.
because it sounds like punk cribs on steroids.
Okay.
And it's just fast and it's just
That's a good
fast
description.
sort
Okay.
of punky, really intense stuff.
Okay.
And they also have another single out at the moment from that album, and it's about racism, and the Colossus is about sort of not wanting to become your dad, I guess. but the same sort of tilting at the same sort of themes. It also features the line, "I'm like Stone Cold Steve Austin, I put homophobes in coffins," which is just a fab line.
That's a lovely line.
Isn't it good?
I don't know much about Stone Cold Steve. He was my favourite wrestler when we were kids.
I don't know if he ever put homophobes in coffins.
Well, I was always just... He seems like he would be a homophobe. But I'm guessing from that line he isn't. He must famously not be, otherwise...
I don't know.
That'd be weird.
Idea. My point is that the album is very sort of politically motivated in a way that I think you will find very enjoyable and that I find kind of refreshing for punk. Because I feel like it's been a while since punk had something to shout about, and I feel like since punk has had something to shout about circa around sort of 2015, 16, there's not been a lot of punk bands that have done a lot of shouting, and it's mostly been pretty quiet on the "oi, this is all very wrong" sort of front, as the alt-right has risen up out of nowhere like a terrible hydra. So
this is a fun podcast. We don't talk about the Nazis.
No, we don't. But so basically, go listen to this immediately. I've listened through most of that album today, and I found it effortlessly enjoyable. And I also listened to most of their first one. It's a bit noisier, but it's still the same stuff. Okay. Like, I guarantee you will enjoy this band. Go listen to Idols. Okay. And that goes for everyone else out there. Just go listen to it. Okay. Just give it a go.
I'll do that. I'll make sure I do that.
Good.
Maybe I'll do it tonight.
Yeah. I want feedbaug.
I might not.
Might
do though.
No, please. I'll feedback by the time I get home, please.
Okay. That gives me half an hour after you leave here.
It gives me it doesn't. It gives you an hour.
Is it an hour to me?
Dude.
Oh, yeah, it is an hour, isn't it? Yeah.
Still
don't know where we live, though, do you? Ha 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 ha!
Right.
Somebody's going to work it out. By the way, we're not in a car park in Hartlepool.
No, we're not.
As was tradition, we didn't mention this last time, but
no.
It was becoming a thing that we were going to meet in Hartlepool, and now we're not. So
I mean, we could, but just today we fancied having a beer first.
It seems like a bad idea to meet in Hartlepool now because we're already here.
Yeah. Yeah.
And we're not outside my house, but we are around the corner from my house because it's less windy. I was thinking earlier, this because this is Storm Alley, isn't it? Is that right?
I don't know. I wasn't even aware there was a storm until I was sat there.
This is the one.
I was sat last night and I literally just went, it's getting a bit windy out there.
Well, at the time of recording, I think there are reports on the news of Storm Alley, and it's going to hit with like 80 mile an hour winds.
Yeah.
Or some sort of shit like that.
Yeah.
And we're going to be okay, but it's going to be pretty windy. But
where I am, I don't know.
Yeah.
Where I am,
I didn't look for you. I don't.
I'm on the coast and I'm a little further down, so potential madness.
But if I don't see clips on the internet of stuff blowing out of the way, like stuff being blown to fuck, with the song from "Make Way for Prince Ali" from Aladdin, if I don't see that memed on the internet, I will be upset.
It's a shame we didn't catch your bin fucking off earlier.
No, that would have been nice.
We could have done it.
That would have been nice. It was nice to go and get it though. Like, come on home. Like I had to come back. I told you about our neighbours. My balls of steel wife went up to basically we seen our bin went missing for about 2 weeks, 3 weeks maybe.
Yeah.
Because we'd left it out one night and we hadn't got it in till the next day. And, you give people an inch and they'll take your bin. Basically, so we left it out for a couple of days, and then it was gone, and we couldn't find it because we just assumed it had been nicked.
Yeah.
And as we're walking back past one of our neighbours, number 9, cunts, we looked into their window and just seen it in their backyard. So Lou knocked on the door and said, "Hello, we're from number 7. We'd like our bin back, please." And the guy said, "Oh, sorry, I think they've already been taken." And she was like, "No, you've misunderstood me. You've got our bin. We'd like it back." And so he was just like, "Oh right, yeah, sorry, love. I'll put it at the back for you now."
The rules of engagement are you don't screw with Irish women. They're hard.
Fuck
they
me.
are hard.
Honestly, mate. You have those moments. I just fell in love with her all over again. I was like, "This is just wonderful. This is just wonderful."
See, an OAP stole my recycling bin. I'm pretty sure it was the OAP. I haven't asked him for it back because I'm just like, oh fuck it, who cares? He can have it.
Do you put your recycling in his bin though?
I wish I could, but I don't.
How far away does he live?
It's just up the road. But the bins don't go out, they're all in the back gardens until it's bin day, and then I have to rush out with several bags in the night some sort of recycling ninja. I'm not about that, so I just put it in my car and take it to the tip like a sensible human being, because the council can get bent. I'm not paying them 20 quid for the privilege of recycling my shit. Do you know what, I think that's a fucking
bullshit, isn't it? Like, you have to, because I remember this is the irony being that this is actually our bin is nicked from somebody else. Yeah. Because our original one, to be fair though, it was out there for 2 weeks before we stole it. because we were like, that's clearly not getting taken in. But yeah, so we stole that bin and we spray painted our number on it. Just like, this is our bin now.
Marked it.
But it's, yeah, because when I was looking, and you're like, yeah, so the council are like, it is £25 for a new bin, or if you have a crime number, we'll send you a new one. I'm like, I'm not bothering the police with this bullshit.
Yeah,
They've got
if you want to
better
ring the
things
police
to do.
and say, excuse me, somebody's nicked my recycling bin.
Like, apparently when Lou Googled it recently, that's not the case anymore. You can't do that now.
Would they get cross at you?
Yeah, no, now, like, it's now, even if you have a crime number, you just have to buy a new bin.
Oh, what the shit?
Business.
God damn it. Brexit. Anyway, let's start talking about music.
Yeah, okay, fair enough. Jingle. So, this month, I have been listening to the lovely synth disco pop record Safari Disco Club by Yelle, the French band Yelle. And it's lovely.
Isn't it
It's
just?
really nice. I was really glad of this after cattle decapitation for a month. It's really nice to have something that, like, the opening bounce of that little bit, that do 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 do, and I just was immediately like, I'm on board with this.
Yeah.
Just before, like, opening thoughts, I really could not stop thinking of Vince and Howard in the first series of The Mighty Boosh when I was looking at the record cover.
Yeah.
It's her in this, like, lovely, like, she looks like it's like a cockatiel or something, like a Christmas tree.
Yeah.
But if a cockatiel fucked a Christmas tree, she'd hatch out of the egg they produced.
Yeah.
And then there's these two blokes in safari outfits with, like, beekeepers' faces.
Well, no, because they're like safari hats, but then they've got masks on, and they sort of end up looking like they're wearing lampshades.
Do all
on their
French
heads.
disco bands wear masks, or is it just Daft Punk and Yelle and, like...
Oh, they don't wear masks the rest of the time. The rest of the time, I think there's actually only one male member, and
Speak for yourself, mate.
tick tick.
Yeah.
And
got 6
as
penises.
far as I know, they've never I think they wore masks for the video for Safari Disco Club, but I think that was it. Like the rest of their videos, they're all out there for people to see.
Yeah. I will confess I didn't get around to many videos. I did watch the
It's a
Safari
shame
Disco
she
Club.
flashes her tits in one of them.
Well,
It's worth it just for that.
That's upsetting.
It's not. It's sort of like a weird moment because it was. I remember watching it with Christina, who you probably know,
I do.
and it was on YouTube.
Second time she's been mentioned on this podcast.
It was on YouTube, and we were sort of sat there slightly drunk listening to Yelle, and then we was like, did she just get her tits out? Did that happen? Isn't this on YouTube?
There's tits on YouTube.
Yeah, there is, but there wasn't then. This was years ago. This is
okay.
like it's quite an old album.
Oh, yeah, it is. That is true. It's a lovely album too. So we'll move away from her breasts. It's also, but just on the subject of the Bush, it is the sort of music I feel like this is the sort of thing Noel Fielding probably listens to.
Yeah,
I just got that feeling from it.
sure.
I don't imagine Julian Barrett would like it, but there you go.
Not nearly enough scat jazz.
So yeah.
So
So lyrically, it's all in French. Some of them, I did have a go.
do you listen to it without looking at lyrics first?
Yeah, of course, obviously.
Yeah.
It's really difficult to compare and contrast French versus English lyrics because you're trying to read two things at once. It's really tricky. To be honest, most of the music is the language of us all. So say the Cat Empire and probably some other people. And realistically, you don't need to speak French to understand that this is funky as shit.
I'm going to ask you to not look at me.
Okay,
Because
that's fine.
the light that's stuck to your forehead is really
They're not to
blinding.
know, Peter. They're not to know. It's not my fault.
It's not even
'Cause
a
I had
head
to move-
torch.
right, okay.
It's just a stick-on light.
So, yeah, full disclosure, everybody. We paused for a little bit because I need to go for a shit. And we moved, and we were in the perfect light for me to see my notes. And then because we're now directly outside my house, I have had to stick a light to my forehead. I say had to. That's probably stretching it. But anyway, I'm having a lovely time, so fuck you. So there's some lovely things. So yeah, it's a lovely... I just immediately felt like this album was my sort of jam. Lovely bit of jungle drums. That's kind of a thing throughout as well. They've got that kind of drumming, like the drums very sort of like Adam and the Ants, kind of like dum 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 dum, like that kind of jungle drums, kind of more recently perhaps done by Vampire Weekend, maybe.
Well, I mean, recently
It's
that
definitely
sort
a
of
thing
rhythm was in everything. Like that was in because it's sort of like the Caribbean moomba thing, and that was even in like Girls Aloud songs. I was catching hints of it in there. And I was like, that is that there, and I can see that, and that's cool. Girls Aloud, please stop. Please stop ruining a good thing. Yeah,
that's true. So, I mean, I think you may have said when we spoke about this album briefly at the end of the previous podcast, the chorus to this is fairly easy.
It's probably the easiest one.
Les Animaux dance down le Safari Disco Club.
I mean, and I've never looked up the translation for that. The animals dance down the Safari Disco
Well, this is
Club.
the thing. It's interesting
Not
because
Don is not down.
It's not
maybe.
down, no. But
At is
this,
at.
but it is in.
In.
It is down is in. But I have my instinct is exactly the same. I've actually I've noticed this, that my instinct is when I see the French word down, because it means in. It's close enough.
Yeah.
So in my head, they're saying down in a Cockney accent.
Damn.
Oh, the animals are dancing down the Safari Disco Club.
Really? Yeah.
Down the Safari Disco Club,
All right,
mate.
Treacle, we coming
Where's
down
the animals?
Safari Disco
Where are
Club?
the animals dancing? They're dancing down a Safari Disco Club, mate. So that's I just can't help it.
Come on, Treacle.
Yeah. All right, zebra. You having a nice dance? And so right, okay. So we'll moving on. So next song on the album, Que veux-tu? Means what do you want? And from reading the lyrics, the answer to that question is some sort of horse. Okay. So these are just some choice lyrics. I haven't done a full lyrical sweep of this because, as I say, it was really hard trying to read them side by side.
Yeah.
So, t'as des chevaux, des poneys, faisons des enfants, which means you have horses and ponies. Let's have children. There's another line. The next line that I've quoted is. Dis-moi que tu es fort comme cet étalon noir à côté de ce chien, which means, tell me you're as strong as this black stallion beside this oak, which is pretty strong.
Like, those lyrics sound deeper than I ever gave Yelle credit for.
Wait, not done. Toffle quatre fui. Oh, by the way, my wife's going to love this episode because she really likes when we went to Paris, she took the piss out of me relentlessly for pronouncing the name of the artistic and red light district, Montmartre, which is how you pronounce it. That is how it is said, Montmartre, because it's a French word. She would just you just say Montmartre if you're British, I suppose. But
Montmartre.
Montmartre. That seems wrong to me though.
Yeah,
it's Montmartre. So there you go, love. You can cut that out and use it as a ringtone if you want. It's honestly, she'll just be like, "Oh, say it." Now it's on the internet. It's all yours. So next bit, Toffle, I'm definitely pronouncing all of these words wrong, by the way.
Yeah.
Sous les chevaux au galop, cet homme qui pique, sa force y pique, which means 4-leaf clovers under the galloping horses. This man who stings his equestrian force. Loves a horse. She loves a horse, mate.
See, considering that one of the only, because I've only ever translated a few Yelle tracks, and they were mostly from the first album. I don't think I've ever really done much from this album. And I know that one of them was a diss track about her ex-boyfriend, where she basically just outed him for being into a load of weird kinky sex stuff.
This is a mean thing to do.
And a couple of other ones from the first album, which are more sexy time orientated. This sounds a little more.
I don't know. I don't know what a lot of them. Yeah, I don't know. There are some things I managed to pick up on, but to be honest, because it'll come up again later. The fact is that I am confident that my translations weren't entirely correct a lot of the time. So I think I think roughly they're correct, and I know enough sort of vague French and Latin kind of phrases to get a vague idea of what's being said.
Right.
And I'm looking at the words and going, okay, that makes sense. I recognise enough words in that to go, I think that is the correct translation, roughly.
And I mean, you couldn't have got it so wrong about the horse, because it's come up a few times.
Yeah, no, definitely. It definitely mentions horses. To be fair, I know chevaux, that is horse.
Yeah.
And des ponies.
Des ponies?
Des ponies. I'm fairly confident it's ponies.
So that's just a northerner saying there's some ponies, isn't it? There's ponies.
There's ponies.
There's ponies over there.
Yes.
There's ponies.
Yes. Yeah, but this song again, like Que veux-tu, I love it. Just a proper. I got really LaRue vibes, and I feel like when LaRue was kind of a thing, it wasn't really. It would have passed me by, but she would have passed me by because I wasn't really that bothered.
And Yelle sort of predates LaRue as well.
Yeah, but so I'm getting that kind of.
But
do you know what it is? I had this little vision of myself actually in the pub we've just been in, being on dancing to this really enthusiastically, on an empty dance floor with just dry ice everywhere, just having a lovely time. Can you just imagine?
Come on, Fon, me and you on a dance floor full of dried ice. I would be ripping that crap.
Exactly. It'd be lovely, man. It'd be lovely.
No shame.
Yeah, I can just imagine having a time. And then C'est pas une vie, it's not a life, is what that means. Lovely lyrical rhythm about an unhappy relationship, I have gleaned. What's been really nice actually with this, because I love wordplay in lyrics, and it's something I spend a lot of time thinking about anyway. Like, I can't help myself. I'm just making puns all over the fucking place. It's really irritating for most people, but I like it. but it's been really nice. This might not even be good wordplay if you're French, but but noticing it for myself in a foreign tongue has been really exciting. So there's a lovely bit where the line goes superficiel, which means Supergirl Yelle, shallow. So she's referring to herself as super, but she's also shallow. But that wouldn't work in English.
And that was actually quite well said, because I could pick that out of where that is in the song.
Exactly.
Having known the song.
I've listened to it a lot. The other bit that I've known quite, because this is the first bit, when I was listening to this is the first bit I picked up on, purely because, for completely the wrong reasons. So it goes, J'en ai marre que tu le plains. And I thought they were chatting about Johnny Marr from the Smiths, but they weren't.
No.
We've already chatted about this song a little bit. Fourth track on the album, Comme un enfant, like a child.
Wow.
What?
See, I'm doing it like the English people do, and you're all Frenching it
I
out.
can't help it. I like it. It's a really nice accent.
Sorry, Joe was just freaking out passers-by.
Did they even look back?
Yeah, they turned around like, what the fuck?
Oh, okay. Well, that's... If you
Some freaking
shout to them to subscribe, and they'll get it in about 2 months' time.
Funny.
It's lovely. The opening's a bit weird. It's got easily my favourite song on the album, by the way, by quite some margin. So it opens like the opening's weird because it's like the theme tune from Stop It and Tidy Up. So I'm already on board. There's no question in there. It's like a proper lovely shambles of noises. It's brilliant. And the lyrical content, again, it took me a while to find because I had to translate it all. But like, it's a song about not being an adult, but not being a child, and being this adolescent kind of figure. And even I'm 29, I still feel like that now.
Yeah,
and I feel like I will never not relate to songs that are about not growing up.
I'm definitely a giant man-child.
Yeah, and this is the song, because prior to this, everything, obviously I've just been talking about horses and wordplay. But this is the song that made me go, I'm really glad I looked into the lyrics of it, because I feel like, as well as it was already my favourite song on the album anyway, and then I sort of read into it and I was like, it's fucking great. I'm going to play a little bit of it now. This is just the end of the second verse and into the chorus, which I don't know why this bit particularly, I just really liked. So I'll play a bit of Comme un enfant now. Oh, lovely. It's lovely, isn't it? It's just a lovely little bit of song.
I'm going to keep stum, but needless to say, I love this entire album.
You don't have to keep stum.
Come on. I haven't talked a lot actually yet, to be fair.
Yeah, you have to say something.
That is a great song. I mean,
I could have recorded this by myself at home.
It's so good. Like, the whole album's so good. I'm interested to hear what you think, because you talked a lot about lyrics, and I'm assuming you're going to continue to talk a lot about lyrics, and you are a very lyric-y focused dude.
Yeah.
But what did you think about the music up until this point?
Well, see, I've got more on that towards the end, because I became aware as I was writing it down that I hadn't said much about it.
Okay.
So I'll come back to that if that's okay, because I'm doing well at keeping in line with my notes.
Stay with your notes.
You know I like doing that. You know I like to do that. I mean, this song, if you didn't like what you've already heard, which then you're dead inside, but like, also, this song opens with a reference to Wayne's World 3.
Yes, it's about the only lyric I ever caught. It's just Wayne's World 3.
Yeah. And I would have not picked up on that, because I would have just thought it was some French words. But it was only when it's like, I like a particular type of strawberries, and I dream of a Wayne's World 3.
Yeah.
Like, that's lovely. Why wouldn't you like a song that talks about that? And then there's a lovely bit, which, do you know what it is? I've got 4 lines in French that I'm not going to read out, because I just can't do it. And it's but it translated is, I'm sensitive to distraction. My gums know the dentist is lying. The drug acts slowly on me. Oh no, I'm stupid. It's paracetamol. Which is lovely. I don't understand what that means, but I really liked it.
I think French is just like, I sometimes think about this, like, because obviously the way other languages are structured, sentence structures don't work the same and stuff.
Yeah.
And like right there, it's just like, what?
Yeah.
What French people?
I really just
like what? You don't understand this?
Yes, I really like the phrase. Yeah, my gums knows the dentist is lying. It's beautiful. And you know, there's just actually the bit that I've just played. that little pre-chorus synth thing, it sounds like the sort of this adolescent whine. It's like she's acknowledging the fact that
because I didn't know the lyrics. Yeah, I almost like a baby sound almost.
Yeah,
because I didn't know what the baby, because I didn't know about. I kind of picked up that enfant was infant.
Yeah,
but I'd never looked into the full translation of the lyrics, so I didn't really understand the significance of. Yeah. It could have been I have an infant for all I know.
Maybe I will.
Maybe I do have an infant.
He's dressed as a pirate today. It's great.
Oh, I know. I came in and I thought somebody had bopped him in the eye.
Well, they fucking got to the nursery last night and they were like, "Oh, it's Pirate Day tomorrow, by the way." And we're like, "Seriously? Now? You're gonna just tell us this now?" And anyone who's listening to this who is a parent who has kids older than 2 will know I'm assuming this is the first of many times this is going to happen to us. So we just dug through a bag of old clothes we were about to give my sister. We just chopped them up and made them into pirate outfit. So you aren't getting those now. And then also, just to go, we'll go back to the album. Go talk about music. There's a lovely little theremin solo at the end, or like it sounds very theremin-y, like that kind of like wee. Love it. And then a lovely 90s like dance pulse to finish. It's just lovely. It's just a great song. If you only hear one out, if you want to get hooked into this album, Pete wanted to put this in as his clip when he was recommending this album. And then I think I probably hinted at the fact that it was what I had picked, and so he picked something else.
Yeah.
But the fact that that's the first time I think we've both agreed on a best song from the album, because we tend to like different bits. I mean,
it's not even that. I always just pick what I think will represent the album the best, and I think Come On Enfant will do that.
That's definitely true. It's definitely a high point of the album.
To be fair, there's a lot of high points in the album. I was trying to desperately... Shimmy Physique, is that on this album?
Yeah, that's my next song.
God.
Well, I'm going to talk about it. So it's a lovely... Yeah, that's a great song. Again, lovely little atmospheric song about a one-night stand where they have nothing in common except for the fact that they want to fuck each other.
Yeah.
It's very similar to our relationship.
Yeah.
So I started to wonder at this point if my translations were a bit off. I did say, didn't I?
You did, yeah. What one gave it away? What gave it away? What was the bum line that was like, I want to kiss the haddock?
So, fenêtre abîmée par le vent des kilomètres, right?
Yeah.
That last word, that's the key one. What do you reckon that means?
Kilometre.
Right. Window damaged by the wind for miles.
What?
They're very specifically different things. 8 kilometres to 5 miles, guys. And I'm not saying that's clearly, if you were translating something from French to English, why would you bother to change that? It's not like it's not like nobody uses fucking kilometres. I'm sure kilometres are a more universally accepted measurement. That's probably
generally globally.
Metric is easier, isn't it?
Yeah.
So why? I don't know. Anyway, that also, this was the other little lyrical translation thing that confused me. It was que Dieu aimant dans un monde passion, which according to
something passion fruit.
Passion is correct.
Yeah.
My translation had it as 2 magnets in mango passion. And I thought, I know the word monde because it doesn't mean mango. It means world. World passion, a love for the world. Not mango passion. Whatever that is.
It's a smoothie. You can get them from Costa.
Oh, it's like, the reason I know the word monde, though, is because it's in Doctor Who. I think it's the first one with the Cybermen. They come from a twin planet of Earth called Mondas, and that comes from the Latin mond, like world, like it's the twin, like it's the opposite planet to ours. So you go, that's why I know that, because I'm a nerd. So the actual French word for mango, if anyone needs to know, is mange.
Close but no cigar.
Yeah, I to be honest, I actually don't have much to say about Chimie Physique because it's a really lovely song.
Great song.
But this is the problem. You obviously went really into it with the dough.
Well, I didn't, did I?
Well, no, you didn't in the end. But you did. It's just you didn't talk about it. What you did was for your own enjoyment, which is fine. That's nice. Just to be honest, this is the same for quite a lot of this. Like La Musique, I don't need to translate the one of that. I don't have much to say about this either. For all I've written for this is about at least 50% of this album, if not the whole thing. I can just imagine sitting down at a club somewhere, just hearing the opening bars of, and just being like, tune!
Dance floor.
I am fucking on this.
I will say, it's a very consistently good album.
Yeah, there's nowhere they really drop the ball. It's just great all the way through. And then it's like the dough. I just want to be jiggling. I just want to be jiggling the whole time.
Yeah.
Montpellier, My Country. Not the most interesting song on the album, I didn't think. Up until the point that refrain kicks in, and it just goes fucking bananas, and it's like a dark synth attack. What was it you called it? like a boss fight.
Like a boss fight in a video,
Like a boss fight in a video game.
an 8-bit arcade
great.
video game.
It's great.
That's like the bass line going down, and then there's like some stabs over the top.
Yeah, and then like the chorus is like it's basically I need a change of scene, I need a change of people, I need a change of country. Just basically just like I need out. That's the principle is like I like my country, but I love yours.
Yeah.
I want to be where you are. I want to be doing what you're doing. I like what I've got, but I want what you've got. That's kind of the basic gist of it, and it's and I like the chorus works nicely because it's like that repetitive, like literally the same line over again, and the rhymes don't work in English. It's lovely. That's again probably a really fucking stupid thing. Like if imagine if I was sitting here talking about a song that was written in English and going, well, I'll tell you what, the rhyming scheme doesn't work in German, so it's really nice. It's really, really nice what they've done there. That's a fucking stupid way to analyse a song, but I just had a bit of fun with it.
It rhymes very well in French, but
yeah, it's a fucking stupid reason to like a song. And then J'ai bu, I drank. It's about a bullshit artist who wants her without anything in return. Lovely song, really angular vocal line, lovely. Like her voice is lovely. She's got a really nice. I get very similar. I don't think I quite like her as much as Olivia.
I don't think she has as much range.
Yeah, definitely not
as the last from the Dome. They make up for her lack of range by doing more interesting things with her voice from a production perspective.
Okay. Well, actually, we're speaking about the production now, I suppose. The next song, Le Grand Saut, I Take the Plunge. Before I translated this one, I felt like I made a note.
Yeah.
That it felt like everything was building up to this like great big, like they were building a mattress out of music for you to fall into at the chorus. And then I found out that this song is called I Take the Plunge. And I was like, well done.
Yes.
Well done, guys. That is exactly how I felt. I felt like I was falling, and then I was taken all comfortable by the chorus. So I'm on to my last page of notes now.
I'm finding this very interesting because you've obviously, you've gone really deep into the lyrics.
Yeah, I would say really deep, as deep as I could with the really dodgy translation that I had.
Deeper than I've ever gone with Yelle.
I've got a real mango passion for this album.
A real mango passion.
I've got a real.
The thing
mango
is,
passion.
I always treat Yelle like I would treat the Mad Capsule Markets or Rammstein or any of the other sort of foreign bands who I've listened, not foreign, but bands from other countries who I've listened to. They are foreign, but that just sounds like aggressive.
It's weird that the word foreign sounds aggressive, but yeah, like I know what you mean.
Yeah,
like bands from they are foreign bands.
Yeah, but
non-English speaking bands.
Yeah, okay, yeah, that's better.
Because to be fair, it's a largely
There's lots
American
of foreign bands who are English speaking, but yeah, they're not English speaking. And I've definitely looked into a couple of Rammstein songs, but there's also a lot
that's
that
never a good idea.
It's a terrifying.
Well, Till Lindemann released an album of English speaking songs, and I can't look at him anymore.
Yeah.
No, I'm just doing a polo now. By
That's all right.
Like a polo,
I'd love a polo. Thank you, Joe.
Would you like a polo, the listener?
Here you are.
May I recommend you buy some polos?
I'm just gonna pop it over the end of the microphone there, right in the hole.
You feel that there? Can you hear that?
Lovely.
Huh.
Minty.
This is the freshest podcast around.
Oof.
Yeah.
But yeah, my point is, I never really.
The irony being that by the time I actually put this out, it'll be about a month from now.
Yeah. I never super went into translating the lyrics. I just kind of left them be and enjoyed them that way, and that's definitely what I did with Yelle. Like I very rarely looked further into the song meanings.
Yeah. No, I'm the same. I've not really done it with them. This is again for the purposes of this. I've done it because I don't know enough about how synth music works, how electronic music works, and just how a lot of this thing, like, I would really struggle to talk that much about an electronic dance album without looking into the lyrics of it. I can talk about viscerally how it made me feel, and I can talk about the fact that it felt like it was filling my bones with jiggles, but that doesn't really help anybody.
You're going to have a real hard time when we come to Aphex Twin then, eh?
I'm really going to struggle with Aphex Twin. Please don't do that.
You are getting Aphex Twin, and you're also getting Venetian snares. So just put that out your head right now. You think metal's bad? Wait until I start dropping IDM and breakcore.
I will let you know right this moment. They will be short episodes. What have you got to say about this, Joe? Well, it happened. So, but no. So this is what. So right. But talking about instrumentation, though, une illusion. Can't translate that. It's not a real word. It's not a word. Presumably,
yeah, she's made it up. It's illusion and uni meaning one is what I always.
It's either one illusion or it means like the opposite of an illusion.
Unillusion.
Yeah, like she's been unillusioned of something. What if she believed something and then she's found out this bullshit?
Surely the rest of the lyrics should help with that.
Didn't really. I haven't actually written anything down about that.
It's probably about horses.
Didn't understand. Yeah, horses probably. Yeah. Unillusion de chevaux. I was starting to think about a bit more about the instrumentation. I'm really enjoying this polo.
Good. Heck
Lovely.
of minty.
Minty. This album's got very 80s instrumental. It feels like very 80s instrumentation. And
yeah.
obviously you're going to probably tell me that what they actually used is not the case.
Oh, it's not.
But it feels very like...
No, I'm not going to say. I'm definitely not going to say you're wrong. I would agree that the way it's written sounds very 80s. Not necessarily some of the synths, yeah, but not all of them.
Yeah, not what they've used to create it, but
a lot more
that vibe,
modern
that
and
sound.
bright. But
yeah,
the vibe it's giving you, it's definitely retro 80s vibes for sure. Because it's a synth pop album.
Yeah, and there's a very. But what I found was I was thinking about it quite a lot because I really did want to, like I say, I really wanted to have something about the music, not just the words. And I was thinking, it feels like what they've done is the instruments are all kind of stripped back, and they've got the minimum music. I've written this down. I'm quoting myself directly.
Yeah.
The minimum music required to create the effect without compromise.
I would agree. I would say that is something the Doe do not do.
No, the dough just layers
just
shit.
layers and layers of cream on your cake. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Whereas, I would say,
the dough are like, it's subtle.
And
it's not overstated at any point. It's lovely.
The first Yelle album is less 80s-ish. It's more modern sounding, but it's just as stripped back. It feels sort of punky in a way because it's so bare bones, you know? And then this album was a lot more heavily 80s inspired.
Yeah.
You can really tell.
Yeah. It's really lovely. So, finishes on Setien Le Soleil. Don't know how you pronounce that, actually. Soleil. I'm going to say Setien Le Soleil. It's Soleil. It's Soleil. So it's lovely. Turn off the sun, it means. Turn off the sun.
That song
Fuck that sun.
So chill.
It's beautiful. Absolutely can imagine this being... It's like a great closer. Like, if you would finish a gig on this, and everyone would go away going like... That was great.
It's so chill, and yet it bangs at the same time. It's hard to describe it.
No, absolutely.
It has a really big
rounds
sort of
everything off.
thumpy
It
kick.
just rounds everything off beautifully.
Pow, pow.
And it's got like a big science fiction-y chorus, and it's beautiful. And the big drums again, like the Adam and the da-da-da-dum. It's just great. Like, it's not always the case that the best song to close the album goes at the end. With this, it absolutely is. This is a closing. This is a closing song, and it rounds everything off perfectly, and that's the end of the album. And you're like, even if you didn't enjoy the whole album, which I did, I would find myself going, "Oh, that was really nice. That finished really nicely. I would really enjoy that."
Yeah,
like
this was a great conclusion, is what we're saying.
It's a great conclusion.
So, just a question from me. We talked a little off pod about how you've been thinking about listening to Devin Townsend again, and I don't think anything else that I've recommended you so far will have made it into your regular rotation.
Yeah, it has.
What has?
Well, I've got,
of course, yeah.
I've still got
in the aeroplane
over the sea in the car.
Sorry,
so.
I forgot about In the Aeroplane.
Yeah.
So okay,
that's still probably top album.
So other than In the Aeroplane, do you think that Yelle will make it into your regular listening rotation? Yes. Do you imagine that you'll probably?
Yeah, I think it will. I think this will be something. Well, this is what. So I've got some notes to close because I've tried to take a bit more of a relaxed with it. I think I've been very intense with the previous albums. I think I would find this irritating if I listened to it on repeat forever. But every now and again, I am going to find myself just going, I really fancy listening to that.
Listen to a dancey, upbeat.
Yeah,
album.
and it's the same. I don't listen to a lot of dance music. I don't listen to a lot of electro synth pop stuff.
Yeah.
But when I fancy it, this will be an album that I turn to.
Yeah,
now.
there'll be like the Doe, and then this, and then something else.
And I know we talked before about how the Doe. It's hard to believe that they're not fucking huge. I can sort of see with Yelle because they're not
because they're French language.
Yeah, because it's French language, and that's harder to.
But I don't think that should be stopping them at all because I think they're that good.
No, I agree. Though I was thinking about this. Is it because say like Safari Disco Club?
Yeah.
I have been singing that, or because it's the only bit I can really cling to.
Yeah.
Because it's such an easy. Les animaux dansent dans le Safari Disco Club. Les animaux dansent dans le Safari Disco Club.
Yep.
Whereas like even as well as being in French, it's very dense. Like the language is dense.
She sings quite fast as well. Like a lot of it's like there's a lot of sort of words,
like rap,
very almost rappy. There's a lot more of that on the first album where it is actually full on.
And on the newer one as well.
Is there? Oh, good.
Yeah, Compliment de Fou.
I've got to get that album.
It's really good.
Remind me that
it's really
exists.
Nice. I will try. It's got a picture of her. She's like a big blue, like she's in a big blue thing on the cover. It's nice album.
I'm excited that there's a new Yelle.
What's the other one called? Because I feel like maybe I did listen to it. Have they only got 3? How many have they got?
As far as I know, they've only got 3. They've got.
Is that including the one that I just told you about?
Pop-Up, Safari Disco Club, and the one you've just told me.
All right, Pop-Up is the other. Maybe I did listen to a bit of it then, but I didn't listen to it very intently.
Pop-Up's great.
So, sorry, I'm getting distracted. What I'm just trying to say with this album is I've just had a lovely time with it. A lot of fun. I've had a lot of little wiggles. I've had lots of little, lots of little wiggles. I've even had it. I've had it on in the house, which, to be fair, was a relief because after I couldn't play cattle decap in the house. Well, I could, but like my wife wouldn't have stood for it, which is
your
fair
wife
enough.
probably wouldn't have liked it, and your 2-year-old would have made some faces, I imagine too.
Yeah, he wouldn't have been a fan. Whereas he's quite enjoyed this. He's had a bit.
Yeah, it's a bit more fun and bouncy. And
yeah,
upbeat.
it's great. Everyone should listen to this. And if you speak French, and any of my French has been really dreadful, sorry. Many thanks for listening.
Yeah.
Like us, subscribe to us. That's what people say at the end of podcasts, isn't it?
Like us and subscribe.
People I've heard people saying it recently, like, oh, it really helps if you leave us a review. I don't know how you leave us a review. I don't even know how to find us now. I've tried to subscribe to
I'm
the new...
not sure what website we're on anymore.
No, we're on Podbean. I don't know how the feed works, and I don't think I can change the feed. But I'm not paying more than £5 for it. Sorry, just to tag on at the end of that, there's not going to be a recommendation this month. We're changing the format slightly. Pete doesn't really understand, so it's easier to just show him, and then he'll come back to me in a month's time and go, oh, I see what you were trying to do there. That's really clever.
I'm just as confused as you are.
It makes sense, and I think to the majority of people it would make sense. Well, thanks very much for listening, everyone, and we'll see you next time. Here's the credits. Bye!
Today's Funny Podcast was presented and devised by Peter McHugh and Joe McLachlan. Music was by The X-Towels.
Puppy Bay. Puppy Bay.